Welcome to the Ultimate Gaming Realm
with your host and creator, Jason Dixon. And Dixon is logging on, and tonight will be a Halloween one special, and the game will be Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
What led me to do the review of Grabbed by the Ghoulies is that I recently did a review on the Rare Replay compilation for the Xbox One console. A compilation of 30 games, including this one. Grabbed by the Ghoulies was originally released in October 2003 for the original Xbox console, developed by Rare, and the first game from Rare to be published by Microsoft. The game was in development after the release of Conker's Bad Fur Day on Nintendo 64, and the game was originally going to be released for the Nintendo GameCube, but when Microsoft purchased Rare in 2002, the future releases of Rare games, such as Grabbed by the Ghoulies for the GameCube, have been pushed over to the Xbox. And this was actually my first playthrough of Grabbed by the Ghoulies, and it was on the Rare Replay compilation. I never actually played the original Xbox version, and I don't think I'll ever will since it's on the compilation with updated 1080p resolution. For the gameplay part, not the cutscenes. So I will be reviewing the updated Rare Replay version on the Xbox One, of course. The story is about two junior college students, Cooper and Amber. Well, I think they're two junior college students. Who knows? Anyway, it's about them both camping until they run into a storm, and then they start looking for a shelter. Then it turns out that they took a wrong turn. But they also found a mansion where Amber insists that they check it out, and then they went to the front gate. But they weren't aware that somebody was secretly watching them from a window, and that person is the Baron Van Ghoul. Who's the main villain of the game? Cooper's probably right. In fact, Cooper is right about you. You are a creep. Then he orders his minions to get both Cooper and Amber. Looks like those gargoyle statues are breaking up. Uh-oh. Beyond you, Amber! Oh, they got Amber! But it looks like his two gargoyle minions grabbed Amber and taken her into the mansion, which leaves Cooper no choice but to enter the mansion to save his girl. These noises from the characters are pretty funny, even though they don't talk in this game. One thing I gotta give Rare credit for this game is that the game looks like it's coming from a vintage book or a classic silent film, which I believe that explains why there's no voice acting. Oh, he's trapped like a rat. He's walking alone in the dark. Oh, there's thousands of red eyes in the background. Are they rats? Oh, someone opens the door and a bowler with a candle. I'm assuming that's a bowler. Yeah, I think it is a bowler. What's all that noise, he asks. Then he turns on the light. Oh, shit. Oh, goodies, leave me alone. While the bowler runs and hides with a tail between his two legs like a coward, he leaves poor Cooper fighting for his own life against these little imps. Well, I guess I couldn't call him a coward because he actually coaches Cooper on how to defend himself against these ghoulies. Cooper is a scary cat, but at the same time he becomes a fighter after Crivens, the butler, coaches Cooper through battling the ghouls, starting with these imps. And you will run across rare books. And one book is hidden in each room, even the same room you return to later. When you find 5 books, you unlock a special challenge for the bonus challenges. Which things can be played or other bonuses can be viewed, or other bonuses like videos can be viewed after being unlocked through your profile, and you can replay cutscenes with your profile as well. There are many ghouls in the game, such as imps, skeletons, haunted televisions, haunted chairs, haunted doors, haunted portraits, zombies, zombie pirates, ninja imps, fire imps, vampires, hunchbacks, mummies, and more. And like some other recent Rare games at the time, like Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day, Grabbed by the Ghoulies does have its neat sense of humor, especially in its slapstick comedy kind of way. But Grabbed by the Ghoulies is nowhere near as superb as Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Grabbed by the Ghoulies does have its pride for the Rare brand. For instance, many references to Banjo-Kazooie, like these head trophies as scary versions of them creeping you out. Oh shit! Phew, that was a close one. Plus, when you enter the game room, you will be seeing many posters of other Rare games like Jetpack, Attic Attack, Gunfight, and fake Xbox ports of Killer Instinct and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Well, actually in 2005, Xbox did an updated version of Conker's Bad Fur Day by calling it Conker's Live and Reloaded, which that one and Grabbed by the Ghoulies were the only two Rare titles on the original Xbox. But Live and Reloaded was not on the Rare Replay compilation, which is too bad. Yeah, I know the Xbox version is inferior to the Nintendo 64 game, but it still has its place in history. Hopefully they'll bring Live and Reloaded as DLC for a Rare Replay eventually. Okay, enough about Conker for now. Perhaps another time. The music and sound effects for Grabbed by the Ghoulies is great. Nothing to complain about, which is a good thing. The graphics are cartoony, much more than any other Rare games. But the graphics are not too bad, but they're not that good either. Or maybe it's just the graphics that doesn't stand out for today, even being polished for this generation. This game is a twin-stick beat-em-up. Yes, for a wuss like Cooper, he seems to have balls, and he uses them to take on the ghouls. With the guidance of the butler, of course. Without the butler, Cooper would be pissing his pants. You can use your fist, feet, or weapons, which of course the weapons can do more damage, but weapons do also expire. Most of the weapons do after 3 hits. You will also find power-ups that will boost your character a little more, and you can also find downgrades which can slow your character down or mess with your character. So you definitely want to avoid any can with a ghoul above it. The controls as a twin-stick beat-em-up in a third-person action game using the right thumbstick and directions is lame. And it's not just that, you also have to control the camera angles with the trigger buttons to see what you're doing. And the right thumbstick you use in directions as your action button is wonky at times, especially when you're surrounded by multiple ghouls, and sometimes each stage have rules. The Grim Reaper, for instance. If you violate the rule, the Grim Reaper comes, and if he touches you, you're dead. But then again, if he's in the area, you can get by him once your objective is complete. Yes, the controls for Grab by the Ghoulies sucks. I mean, a twin-stick beat-em-up doesn't work well for any game involving a third-person action. I mean, if it was a top-down view, like Robotron or Gauntlet or Geometry Wars, would make more sense. But third-person games like this, no way. I mean, I think I can be wrong on the twin-stick third-person subjects for other games, but I'm not wrong about Grab by the Ghoulies on this subject. The button sequence scare test is another thing that gets annoying sooner than later. It's interesting at first with the animal head trophies, including creepy versions of Banjo and Kazooie, when their head trophies come alive and scare you. But later in the game, for instance, on the same stage, this hand comes out of the ground and grabs me multiple times, and I have to go through multiple sequences, pisses me off. Especially when you got through them, and then later you fail on the stage, you have to go for that crap again. In fact, if you fail on any stage after you go through multiple objects, you have to go through the same crap again. Oh, and if you fail the button sequence, you lose 10 points of health. Well, of course, if you have a shock blocker power-up, it does the sequence automatically for you, which makes it easier, but it's still stupid to put up with. And unlike Banjo and Kazooie or Conker's Bad Fur Day, Grab by the Ghoulies is not an open world type of game. It's a linear, level-to-level type of game, in 3 big chapters and 2 small chapters, 5 chapters altogether. And my god, it's always the same room over and over again. For instance, if you were trying to go to a shack to get a special item, you have to go through certain rooms first. And after you're done getting the item out of the shack, and you have to go back to the same area where you started, you still have to go through the same rooms again. And each time, the Baron throws many different challenges at you, and it gets tedious really quick. And by the way, the Baron is watching every move you do, and he's holding the strings of these ghouls. The Baron is the mastermind behind these ridiculous challenges, and he alters my life meter on each stage. I would have to say this Baron is the evil version of Red Baron. Throw me a special Red Baron pizza after all the bullshit you put me through, asshole. Let's get back to the story. Well, the main objectives. Start with Chapter 1, rescuing your girl Amber. After numerous battles through ghouls, you eventually catch up with her. And after you rescue her, she acts like a bitch at first. But I don't blame her, because Cooper's a pussy. But at least he's a pussy with a pair of balls. Well, anyway, after the rescue, then comes out of nowhere, this mad scientist comes and turns your girl into a fugly ghoulie. Which leads to Chapter 2, where you have to go see the cook for a magical cure, which requires certain items to make the potion. Now, after you cure Amber, a friendly skeleton named Mr. Ribs asks you to save the other prisoners that you already found in certain areas. But you couldn't do anything for them until you found the special key, which is in the possession of the Baron, which doesn't surprise me. Then you go to the butler for advice, and then he tells you the only way to get to the Baron is that it requires a magical ribbon page to unlock the door to his quarters. But the page was torn to 3 pieces, and each torn page has been put into 3 different rooms, which leads you to your 3rd mission. Get all 3 pages together. And this objective is the pain in the ass out of all. Then after you get the pages together and unlock the door to the Baron's quarters, you can see the shadow of the butler beating up the Baron. Then the butler shows you the key. Oh, look at that creepy look. Then he starts to hit you with the key. And then he unmasks himself as the real Baron. So the butler, Crivens, never did exist. The Baron was toying with me the whole time. Clever son of the bitch, isn't he? So the next objective from there is to defeat Baron von Ghoul. You can see his quarters looks more like a toy room, with airplanes hanging from the ceiling. Airplanes hanging from the ceiling. Well, after all, he is a Baron. And once you defeat the Baron and get the key, Mr. Ribs issues you a challenge of how fast you can rescue the other survivors within the matter of 13 minutes, which I think is the most dumbest challenge in the game, or probably one of the most stupidest ideas of all time, especially after you've been through enough trouble as it is. But Mr. Ribs thinks he can be a hero too, and there will be ghoul challenges in the way that you have to go through. And if you fail in that room, there's no counter reset on time. So you pretty much have to get it right the first time, without restarting the stage, or complete these stages as quick as possible. But I haven't beat the clock. And the good news is, you don't have to complete this idiotic challenge to complete the game. After the Survivor Rescue Challenge, no matter if you beat the clock or not, you and your girl, Amber, gets evicted from the mansion in the kindest way. Of course, with gratitude of what you've done for them. End of story. So the story is okay in somewhat ways, but definitely not convincing like the other Rare games. And the gameplay and challenges are extremely long, repetitive, boring, and in a way, a waste of time. I put in many hours into this game, including the editing and converting. I think the problem with this game is, Rare did not have enough ideas or creativity for this game. Or probably they must have rushed it because they were probably out of time on this project for the release. Well, it happens. Overall, it's still a decent game, but for me, I'm not going back into the game unless if I'm aiming for unlockable stuff off the Rare Replay compilation for bonus stuff like achievements. So, do I recommend Grab by the Ghoulies? I recommend the Rare Replay compilation even for Grab by the Ghoulies. But if it was the original Xbox version of Grab by the Ghoulies, I would have to say, unless if you're a completist, then probably not. I would give this game a 6 out of 10. Some ways I kind of think a 5 out of 10, but I guess 6 out of 10 will do.
Well, thank you all very much for watching this Halloween special. This is Dixon saying Happy Halloween, and whatever you do, do not get grabbed by the Ghoulies. Well, anyway, happy Halloween, everyone. Dixon, logging out. Yeah.